Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I made a video a few months ago about how to make rhinestone templates with your Cricut, and a lot of you wanted to know if there's an easier or faster way to make these templates. Now there are programs, but most of them I found cost hundreds of dollars. But I did find a program that's 60 bucks, and I'm going to show you guys how to make templates with that program and also how to make them with just your Cricut. So stay tuned. So the program I found is called Cricut a lot. I got it for $60 for a lifetime license, and that's amazing because most of these programs are 10 times that amount for a lifetime license. You can do more than just make rhinestone templates with this program, but that's what I bought it for, so this is what this video is about today. And these are all the default settings of Cricut a lot. I haven't changed anything. So to create your design, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can upload your own image, or you can work with the image library that they have. If you do, they have a few basic images you can look at, but me personally, I'm going to upload my own. So I went to Trace and I'm going to upload this image that I got on Canva. And I found that when you're uploading an image, you want to make sure it has a transparent background and that it's one solid color. So this has a transparent background and it's solidly black. Now I'm going to adjust the size. My flock that I use for the rhinestones is 12 by 8. So I'm going to make sure this is a little bit shorter than that. That way it's going to fit on my flock whenever I go to cut it out. It's very important that you size your design before you do the rhinestones because if you don't, they're not going to fit. So you want to click on your images and then click on effects. Then you're going to go all the way down to where it says rhinestones. If you click outline, then your design will be outlined with the rhinestones. And when you select the size, don't click on the size that you have. Like I have SS10 rhinestones. You want to go off of the size. So the SS10 rhinestones are 0.13. So I clicked on the rhinestone size that is 0.13 inches. Now if I just want the outline, I'll stop there and I'll press OK. Once I press OK, you can see that it's going to outline my image. If you want to fill the image in, then what you're going to do is click on your design, go back to effects, and click on rhinestones one more time. Once you've clicked on rhinestones, you're going to select where it says fill, and under fill, it's going to have different patterns you can choose from. So this is what the grid looks like. It looks okay, but it could be filled in a little bit more. So you can just play around with the design to see what you like. So go back to effects if you don't like the way that fill looks, and you can choose between the different variations. I ended up going with the contour because I feel like it looked the best. You can also adjust the spacing of your stones if you want to. So I'm going to select my image, go over to object, and then I'm going to break apart my design. This is going to take it from one design and make each of those little rhinestones individuals. So the first thing I'm going to do is select one of the rhinestones and copy it. I want to fill in this little space right here. So I'm going to right click and paste it, and then I'm going to move it to the spot that I want it to be in. And I'm just going to do this all around. There's a few spots that I feel like could be filled in a little bit more. So I'm going to go through and just add a few rhinestones here and there. Once you're happy with your adjustments, you're going to select all of those different rhinestones. Remember, we broke them apart and we're going to add them back together. You want to go to object and you're going to merge them to one image. And as you can see here, it's going to move as one instead of individual pieces. Now we want to add a background to our design. So we're going to go over to that blue rectangle and we're going to create a rectangle around our design. This is going to act as our flock piece. So the first thing you want to do is you want to move that rectangle to the back, and we're going to select both the image and that background. Make sure you completely select all of the image. If you don't, it's not going to let you combine them. So once you do that, you want to go to path and then you're going to exclude. If you're familiar with Cricut Design Space, this is similar to slicing an image. And now we're done designing, so we can export our template. So what you want to do is go over to File and then you're going to select Export. After you're done export, you can save it as an SVG file and then of course title it whatever you want to title it. And once we've done that, it's going to save to your computer and we're ready to upload it to Cricut Design Space. Now this is what I've learned with my limited knowledge so far. I'm going to learn a lot more and come back with an updated video, guys, after I've used it for about a month or so. Alright, so whenever you get to Cricut Design Space, you want to select New Project. And then of course it's going to be a blank canvas. After you've done that, you're going to go over to upload and we're going to upload our images. Select upload and then upload image, then we're going to browse on our computer. So once you've done browse, you're going to upload your design. So that's my first one because I literally just downloaded it. Once you've done that, you're going to click on continue, inspect it, make sure everything looks good, and if it does, you're going to upload it. When you upload it, it's going to upload to the size that you need it to be, so do not adjust that size or it's going to mess up your template. And you can cut out your design from here if you'd like. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make a template without using the Shortcuts a lot. So the first thing you want to do is go over to upload image, and I'm going to upload that same design that I uploaded into Shortcuts a lot. That way I'll show you guys the exact same design. So once that's uploaded, we're going to apply, and we're going to make sure we save that as a single layer, and we're going to continue and upload. Now that it's uploaded, we're going to resize it to the size that we need it to be to make our template. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to shapes, and I'm going to select a square. After I've chosen my square, I'm going to adjust the size of it. So I'm going to unlock it, and then I'm going to make the width 12 inches and my height 8 inches. And the reason why I'm doing this is because my flock is 12 by 8. I'm also going to change the color so it stands out a little bit. So after I've done that, I'm going to take my design and make sure that it's on top of that flock. Then I'm going to resize it to make sure that it fits within those dimensions. Now that the image is the correct size, we can hide that square for now. We'll go back to it later, and we can start making our rhinestone template. So you want to go over to shapes and select circle. And because I'm using SS10 rhinestones, I'm going to change that circle to 0.134. And that's the size of the SS10 rhinestones. I'll make sure to put the size of the other rhinestones here. That way, if you're doing a different size, you'll still be able to make the template. So once we've resized it, we're just gonna literally go in and individually place each of these circles wherever we want them to be. So this is really time consuming. That's why a lot of people were saying, oh, there's programs that'll do it faster. And yes, I get that, but not everybody has hundreds of dollars to spend on a program, especially if it's not something that they do for a living. So yeah, this may take a long time, but you can't be free. Now, I'm not going to do the whole design, but this is enough to show you guys how it works. So once you have your rhinestones ready, you can hide your source image, and then you're going to select all of those little dots that you made, and we're going to weld them together. So select combined and then weld. That way it's going to be one image instead of multiple. Now we're going to bring our rectangle back and select the rectangle and our design, and we're going to slice that through. This is the same as the exclude from that other program I was showing you guys. It's going to make one image instead of a whole bunch of smaller images. And as you can see here, it has a cutout for your rhinestones. That way your template's good to go. All right, so now I can delete that, and I can show you guys how to cut it out with your Cricut. So once you have your design ready, you're going to go over to make, and we're going to make our design. So after selecting make, you're going to choose how you're going to cut your design out, and you want to cut it on a mat. So we're going to select continue and look at your design to make sure everything is good, and it is. We're going to continue. Now you're going to select browse all materials and scroll all the way down to the bottom. You're going to select material settings, and we're going to add a new material. So to do that, scroll all the way to the bottom of that, and you're going to select add material. And now you want to name your material. I'm naming this one new rhinestone flock because I already have a rhinestone flock in there, but I recently had to buy more flock, and I guess they changed it. So I went with the new cut settings that they had for Cricut on in their packet. So for the pressure, I'm going to do 175. And then for the multi-cut, we're going to do 2. That way it's going to cut each circle twice instead of once. And then we're going to do the fine blade and save it. And that's pretty much it as far as adding that new material. So once you've done that, you're going to go all the way back, exit out, and then go browse all materials. Then you can search whatever you named it. I'm going to search new. And then as you can see there, it says new rhinestone flock, and we're going to cut that. And for the cut pressure, you can do default more or less. I always do more. I don't even know why, but I do. To cut out these templates, I find it best to use a standard grip mat. You want to take your rhinestone flock and you want to peel off the backing to that. Now don't throw that backing away, put that to the side for later. When you're putting the flock onto your mat, be very careful because you don't want there to be any lumps or bumps in there. Luckily, you can easily peel it off and put it back on if that's the case, but I like to take a brayer and smooth it out just to make sure it's extra smooth. And after that, you just load your mat into your Cricut and you can start cutting. Now, depending on the size of your template, this does take a while because it cuts all of those individual circles, and it's going to cut them all twice to make sure it cuts all the way through. Now that we're done cutting, it's time to remove our template from our mat. So the first thing you want to do is peel from the corners, but peel very slowly. I suggest this because you want to make sure all those little circles stay on the mat because it makes cleanup a lot easier. After our template has been removed, I'm going to take this scraper and then just scrape off all these little circles. You can save this for later if you want to, but me personally, I have to do it right away or I will not take it off of the mat. Alright, so now we can start adding our rhinestones. So the first thing we're going to do is take our template. Remember, it's sticky on the back, and we're just going to stick it onto our table or any surface you want to. Then we're going to take our hot fix rhinestones. Remember, they must be hot fixed, and spread them all over our template. We're going to take our rhinestone brush, and we're just going to lightly brush over all of the rhinestones until they fall into the holes. This is the best brush that I've found. You could try like to use a scraper or something, but this little brush is the best thing you can do. So once you've done one layer, you can scrape up the extra rhinestones and just spread them back on top, and then keep brushing until all those holes are filled. Sometimes no matter how much you brush, there's going to be some that won't go into those holes. So you want to take a little wax pen and then just individually put the rhinestones into the spots that it didn't go into. And once we have all of our rhinestones in the right place, it's time to put our transfer mask onto our design. So you want to peel off this mask. A lot of times they'll come with your flock, so you don't have to buy any extra ones. And you're going to carefully place it on top of your template. Try not to move too much as you're applying the mask because it could completely mess up your design. I've done it before. Then press down on your mask until you feel like all the rhinestones are covered. Take your time as you're peeling away that tape to make sure all the rhinestones are on the tape, because if you miss one, you can just push the tape back down to pick it up. These templates are reusable, so the best way to reuse them is to take them off once you're done, place them face down, and you remember that backing that we saved from earlier, you're going to put it back on the sticky side of your template, and now it's protected and good to reuse. And here I'm just showing you guys how I clean up the rhinestones after I'm done. Hot fix rhinestones can be applied to most clothing items, and I had this pink hoodie, so I'm going to add my design to that. I'm using my Cricut Easy Press to apply these. I set my temperature to 320 and my time to 20 seconds. Always lint roll before applying a hot fix design. I'm just going to eyeball where I'm going to place my template, but the good thing about these is that if you misplace them, you can pick them up and put them in a better spot. Like I thought this one was too far to one side, so I picked it up and I placed it more towards the center. Before pressing, I put a Teflon sheet over my design, and once my heat press heated up enough, I went ahead and started pressing. Like I said, I did 320 degrees for 20 seconds. After removing the heat press, I took off that Teflon sheet and I looked just to make sure each of my rhinestones was pressed down. If it wasn't, I would go back in and repress it. After it cooled down, I could peel away that backing, and as you can see, the rhinestones are secure and everything's shiny and beautiful. You can achieve this same look by just using your Cricut, but the Shortcuts a Lot does save you a lot of time. Let me know if you guys will consider getting this program, what you think about it. Again, I'm just now trying it out, so I'm going to give you guys an update in about a month or so after I've done a little bit more research with it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.